Welcome to Empire Building. I'm Wendy Papazan, and together with my 4 co-hosts, we bring you weekly unfiltered conversations about leadership, growing a big empire, and living on your own terms.
I'm Kimber Levitt-Keedy. We are investors and wealth builders with over $75 million in combined net worth.
I'm Sarah Reynolds. We are visionaries who built more than 50 businesses with over $122 million in annual revenue.
I'm Tiffany Fikes. We've led thousands of people and do it all while being pretty good moms.
And I'm Seychelle Van Poole. We are your podcast to learn how to build big businesses and even bigger lives. Hello, Empire Building listeners. Welcome back to another amazing episode. You have Seychelle here, and I'm with my amazing co-hosts. I've got Wendy and Kimber. Hi, y'all. How's it going?
Hi, Seychelle.
How are you doing?
Hi, ladies.
Hello, Kimber.
So I have to admit, I came across a TV show the other day that I have not seen in a very long time that totally took me back to like childhood and being at my grandmother's house. Do you guys have any shows like that you're just like, oh my gosh, like this brings back memories for me?
I mean, the Golden Girls, I often think about all the movies. Like, I'm like,
yes! Yeah.
Yes.
Weren't they like in their 50s there or something like that? Isn't that
Some
crazy?
in their 40s.
Yeah.
Some were in their 40s, which I'm like, is that what I look like?
I know.
But have you seen that meme where it has like Sex in the City and then the Golden Girls next to him, and it turns out they're exactly the same age?
They were the same age?
No.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
No, but I think that's insane and amazing. Well, one that was on the other day that I just like came across by chance was, do you guys remember the show Judge Judy?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
It was like a total staple. It was such a huge hit for daytime. And I like went down this rabbit hole of nostalgia because she was always on at my grandmother's house. And I would just hear her voice, like when we would be like making cookies in the kitchen, I would hear her in the background. And I was like, that little lady is super tough. Like, I just remember being like,
so tough.
And like,
tough.
I grew up in Texas. We didn't talk like that to anyone.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, what is this amazing creature of a woman? And, you know, I know she was a small claims court judge for a long time before she got her TV show, but I didn't realize she didn't start her show until she was 53 years old. Did you know that?
No. That's amazing.
I had just assumed she maybe had been on TV since like the dawn of time. I don't know. I just like didn't understand how all that worked.
When did that come out? Like the mid 90s?
Yeah, like 96. Yeah, and
96,
she ran.
yeah.
So her show was on until 2021. So 25 years she was on air. That's
wow.
I mean,
25 years. Yeah.
So she was in her late 70s, almost 80 years old when the show stopped. Like that is, talk about like starting a career midlife and also like really learning the power of business and how all of it works. Because she was just, I mean, not that judges aren't amazing, brilliant business people. Some are, some are not. But like, I don't typically see like a judge as somebody that's a business person. I see them as like a legal authority. And so for her to turn into this like business mogul and negotiating all of her own contracts and running her own show, which is kind of crazy to me. So I then go down this rabbit hole with Judge Judy of like looking at what was happening in the world around the time her show was starting. And it's only been, 30 some odd years, but like it's kind of astounding how far we have come as a society since that.
Since the mid 90s?
Yeah, since the mid 90s. Like,
okay.
Like think about it this way. So she started in 96. So barely 20 years before that, Mississippi did not ratify the right for women to vote until 1984. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Mississippi hadn't even ratified women to vote until then. And like women couldn't enroll in the military in 1996 when Judge Judy aired. Like, if you just think about some of those things that we take for granted now, like
women just were able to open their own bank accounts without a male cosigner. Like, in my lifetime.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
In your lifetime. That's
right.
crazy when you think about that.
Yeah.
So she's becoming
crazy.
this like business mogul when women have barely had the opportunity to even open up their own bank account.
That's
basically
crazy about the military. I didn't realize it was that. 1996.
1996. Well, and like also in 1996, for the same job, women earned 74 cents on the dollar for every man earned doing the same job.
Well, that hasn't changed a whole lot.
Unfortunately, no. We're a little higher. We're working it. This podcast is helping us get there. Like, women couldn't even have equal like funding for women's sports in college till 1997 to get like national funding. Like, you just think about some of these things that we take for granted. Like, they weren't around when she was airing.
Well, I remember when Title IX came out.
Yes.
That was in the 70s. I was in elementary school. And I used to get so mad because girls and boys had to do such different things in elementary school gym. So I remember the boys would go do wrestling and the girls had to do hula hoops, which I always thought was so profoundly unfair.
Yeah. Although I am a really good hula hooper because of that. So
I mean, not that I wanted to wrestle, but still, I always thought it was so weird that we had to do something so different,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there are some really, really cool and amazing lessons that Judge Judy taught a whole generation of women that were at home with the TV on, teaching them, advocacy and how to set boundaries and how to have agency for yourself and how to ask for what you want. There are all these cool lessons that Judge Judy really taught women through the power of an entertaining, high drama TV show. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of dive into some of that today.
So fun. Y'all, you listeners out there, you're so lucky. I mean, what other podcasts are you listening to that gives you the lessons from Judge Judy? So for the record, this is Seychelle's idea. This is her brainchild. It's been in the hopper for a little bit.
I got really excited about
it's been on the back burner.
I know.
It's been on the back burner. But yeah, today's the day. Today's the day. So today we're going to learn all about all the lessons you need to know from Judge Judy.
And maybe a couple of Judaisms too in there as well.
I love it.
Well, and then we just invite our listeners to tell us, because this might send you on a rabbit hole of who is that person from Blast from Your Past that has some lessons. So let us know. Maybe Seychelle is starting the birth of a new series.
I like it.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, Judge Judy's first lesson is to know your worth. Okay. So if you ever watched her show, she always made sure that, especially she was an advocate for women, right? To know your worth and to negotiate from strength. Too often people negotiate from fear instead of value. We have, especially women, so often have a negative self-image, negative self-worth, and you want to make yourself indispensable. And Judge Judy always talked about that. And she really encouraged people to ask for what they want. And here's a big one. Don't be afraid to walk away if you don't get it.
Something that she said too, Wendy, I love that, is she would walk into every negotiation, whether it was negotiating her media contract or every court case, she would ask the people before they came into court to write down on a piece of paper what they wanted out of that episode or out of that court case. And she wouldn't look at it because she didn't want to be, kind of swayed by what they wanted, but she would actually have them do an exercise before they would walk out into court and say, I want you to specifically write down what you want out of today. And I thought that was just such a good lesson of negotiation. You should walk into every meeting when you're negotiating, or every meeting even when it's a big conversation, and you should have 1, 2, 3 things that you want to get out of that meeting as a goal, because that's what you need to work towards.
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the second lessons that she talked about was demanding clarity, which I think is really important in the negotiation still. Unclear talking points are your enemy. Pushing for direct answers, call out the vagueness. I love one of her famous quotes, right? That is not an answer. That's not an answer, right? She called it out. And so I think communicating clarity, you gain authority and respect. And I think for us, when you're in a meeting and somebody's like, it's not clear. You're like, what are we saying? Actually, even summarizing, so what I hear you saying is this. I think there's real power in not just allowing the vagueness to rule the day.
That's something you do really well, Kimber. When we're having our Her Best Life board meetings, you always tie it with a bow at the end of every meeting. And I thought I was good at it until I saw you do it. And I was like, oh, this is really good. So I think that is a superpower of yours. It's something you do really well.
Thank you. I don't even think I realized that.
Do you remember the Dumb and Dumber confession? Do you guys remember that episode?
No. I mean, I love Dumb and Dumber, but I don't remember that.
Nope. Tell us, Wendy. Remind it.
Yeah. No, I think it was kind of a more famous case. So a plaintiff was listing items stolen from her purse, including cash and some gift cards. And she said an earpiece. And then one of the two defendants shouted out, there was no earpiece in there, ma'am. Judge Judy obviously seized on that slip up and said, the only way you would know that is if you'd actually been through the purse. Of course, the audience started to laugh. And that's when Judge Judy ruled for the plaintiff and called them, the two defendants, dumb and dumber. So clarity is power.
I love that. Well, and that leads into number 3, which is lead with integrity and responsibility. Something she would always say is, if you tell the truth, you do not have to have a good memory. And she caught people all the time in lies because they were constantly spinning and changing the story. And she was like, just tell the truth. You then don't have to remember what happened because there's only one thing that happened. And another one I loved was, she was really, really big on grown-ups taking care of their kids and providing good examples for their kids. And she really believed that a good parent isn't just someone that provides shelter and food, but they really provide them with a moral compass. And you would hear all the time be like, did your parents teach you nothing, right? Why didn't your parents teach you that? And I think, as us is how we say on our podcast, right? We're pretty successful business people, but we're also pretty good moms. I think that's something we all strive for, is giving our kids a strong moral compass so they can go out in the world and do even better than we have. And, it's really at the end of the day when we're leading other humans, Judge Judy always taught us, right, you have to be accountable to yourself first, and then to your people, and then to your values. And so I loved that she was always very clear on that. Like, those are the three things. If you can take care of that, everything else is going to be good.
All right. Another thing Judge Judy taught us is to use facts, not feelings. If you've ever watched that show, there was a lot of emotion going on. And obviously that, was made for TV. So they hammed it up when they were out there. But I think this is a quote from her. She said, don't let your emotions take the driver's seat, which is very true in so many things in life. And then just, you want to come prepared with data, come prepared with evidence. And when emotions rise, take a break, reset, and return focused. So use facts and not feelings, according to Judge Judy.
I love that. That's like a real life lesson. Like, where are the facts? Like, take a deep breath and make sure, even as you're going back and reading through something. So number 5, which I think is a really powerful one as well, is trust your gut, right? Pay attention to what people do and not just what they say. I say to my boys a lot, like, hey, I know that you can see me better than you can hear me. So it's like, what am I actually doing versus what am I telling them to do? So body language often tells a story. I can as a parent, right? Like, I'm like, oh, I can tell by your emotions what you're doing. That is not one of your most honest moments. And experience sharpens your instincts. So when you feel something in your gut, trust it, because likely it's leading you on the right path.
I love that. And it is so true. How many times have we gone against our gut and we're like, oh, I knew it.
I knew it. That's right. I knew that was the answer.
I should have listened to that. This one, I think we all on the podcast feel incredibly strongly about, which is to choose your circle wisely. And Judy talked about that in friendships, but she also talked about that in relationships. When there was ever relationship drama, one of my favorite Judge Judyisms was beauty fades, stupidity is forever. And I just kind of loved that. When you're picking your friends and you're picking your significant other, beauty fades, but stupidity is forever. So be careful who you are surrounding yourself with. You want to be surrounded by people who are elevating your thinking, of high integrity and high ambition to get you there.
So Judy's 7th words of wisdom here is to be authentic, which of course us at Her Best Life here in Empire Building Podcast. It's one of our core values, to be authentic and be unapologetic. At the end of the day, you don't need to be loved by everyone, and authenticity earns respect. I mean, some crazy, funny quotes from Judge Judy. She said, I don't care if you love me or hate me as long as you watch. So it's kind of like that in business. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't necessarily not care if people hate you, but at the same time, you know, the higher you climb, the bigger your business get, the more haters you're going to have. And, you know, you're out there in the ring making it happen. And everybody else, usually the haters are sitting on the sidelines wishing for more. So
that's right.
Be unapologetic.
I love that. That's the arena. I always think about that quote, right? Like, you're in the arena. Can't pay attention to people who are in the stands and they're not on the field with you.
Absolutely.
And the last one, number 8, right? Be direct and tell the truth, right? So what needs to be said and stand by it. So it's being direct, but also making sure that you're doing that in a spirit of truthfulness. I mean, she's got a lot of moments. One of, you know, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. That's one that I feel like I hear from people quote her on probably most frequently, right?
I love it. Yeah. I think she also said, if you tell the truth, then you don't have to have a good memory.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved that
Yeah.
one. I always loved the one that she'd be like, I eat morons like you for breakfast. Like, she'd be like, that was one as a little kid. I was always like, ooh, this lady's real tough. She's kind of scaring me right now.
Feisty.
I wonder what she was like in real life. I bet she was like that.
I think she still is, right? She's still on the air. I was like, she's got her.
Still on the air? Oh, wow.
She's still on the air. She does a streaming thing called Judge Judy. So we all have a chance to jump back on. And I think her granddaughter now joins her, which is a very, full circle of being able to still be on. You can check her out.
That's so cool.
Maybe she'll listen to this and give us some more tips.
She was talking to like a whole room of like women leaders, and they asked her what her one piece of advice would be. She was like in her 80s at this point. And she goes, wear sleeveless shirts as long as you can, because at my age, it's no longer appropriate. She was like, you may think it's not appropriate to be wearing sleeveless shirts yet, but do it anyways.
I love that.
Well, it's such a testament to like doing what you love, right? Because at 83, still a judge, still on the air, right? Like still commanding like that level of respect. I think there's this world of like, what's next, right? I'm over 50. Does that mean that like, that's it? This is it? Yeah. And yet you're seeing her start, like that side of her career started in her 50s. And now 30 years later, still delivering on it. And I think at one point she was commanding like $40 million a year for that series, like pretty powerful. Yeah. So, just when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, right?
Yes. Well, she did her own negotiations too. She did not have an agent doing her negotiations with the network, which was, you think about now, like that's like almost unheard of. You would send somebody else in to go negotiate for you with that amount of money. And she would walk in with an envelope in hand of what she wanted, and she would slide it across the table and say, this is what I want.
Wow.
Well,
I'm just Googling her as we're chatting here. So it said that part of the reason people went on there is that the show actually paid the winner's settlement. And if the plaintiff won, the show writes the check for that amount. So
I didn't know that. That's cool. That's really
the
cool.
show pays for it.
It makes sense.
That makes sense.
Well, I mean, how cool. Yeah. I mean, how cool. It's not just for the
That's why
attention.
they had so many people. Yeah. Why go, why go?
I think too, she really served as an example of, to Kimber's point, like what it's like to start in the middle of your life, start something completely new and different, using her what I love is she used her expertise of what she had already developed and then plussed it. I think that's, most people take like a complete right turn, and she's like, no, like how can I leverage this to do something that I enjoy more and like take my expertise to the next level, which I think is really neat. And she really saw herself as an entertainer at this point. Like she really sought out to become an entertainer. Yeah, we saw it too. Yeah. But she really was like, let's have some fun with this. Like, let's not take life too seriously. Let's have fun with it. I'm not going to take myself too seriously. And like, I so appreciate that as we all are growing these big businesses. Like, what are we doing to have fun with this? What are we doing to plus it and take our businesses to the next level, to take our exposure to the next level? I just think it's great.
Yeah, and she just owned it. Like she owned who she was. I think in this world too of like, what is your brand and how are you connecting? Like don't be somebody else. Like own who you are. Really use that, double down on that, because that she was able to continue, right, to build a very successful career by owning exactly who she was and being unapologetic for it, which I think is a beauty of something that as we all like move through this life for women, that they get to be unapologetically exactly who they are.
I love it. Well, so many of us are standing on the shoulders of the giants that have come before us, and we're so blessed to have so many amazing women who have paved the way for us and opened bank accounts maybe when it was frowned upon, or, acted like a woman in power when there weren't a lot of role models for that. Still aren't a lot of role models for that. It's still pretty rare to see a movie with a strong female lead, and even more rare to see a movie with two strong female leads. And so all of you that are out there, and just know that, someone is watching you as you're building your empire. Someone is seeing you and learning from you. And that's one of our, I guess, honors as female empire builders, is as we go out and build our big businesses and bigger lives, we get to know that there are other women that we are paving the way forward for. And so continue to do it, even though I know it's so hard for so many of you listeners. And so thank you for this weird and interesting episode, Seychelle.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Yeah. And thank you, Judge Judy, wherever you are. If you happen to listen to this episode, we're all big fans.
Yes, we are. Go out there, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Have a great week.
This podcast is for general informational purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions of the guest represent those of the guest and not Keller Williams Realty LLC and its affiliates, and should not be construed as financial, economic, legal, tax, or other advice. This podcast is provided without any warranty or guarantee of its accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or results from using the information.